Hello, Jennifer from Aster Anne here today, and today we're going to be embellishing our Anna Tote. If you're not familiar with our Anna Tote bag, this is how it comes. Now our Anna Tote bag it's a large bag, and it's one that I designed to be used in a couple of different ways, when it's put together. So designed it's in one long piece like this. So this becomes our front and back. It has obviously the grommets or the eyelets already pre-punched in there. We have our side gusset pieces, so 2 of those. We have our handles, which just go through those grommet holes. We have some instructions, simple instructions on how to actually put it together, and it also comes with a magnetic closure and some pins and needles. Today I've decided I'm going to show you how to embellish it with strips of fabric, and we are also going to do some decorative stitching over those strips. The first part that we want to embellish is the body of our bag, but I have already fused some repositionable stabilizer onto, I have 4 pieces of fabric that are 10 centimeters wide by the width of the fabric. So you can see here it's actually got the printing on the selvage, so that is the true width of the fabric. And I've also got a little bit of a contrast fabric. This particular one is a piece of linen, and that's my contrast for this project. I think there could be lots of different colours and things that you could do with this one, but this is my choice. I'm using these Tilda fabrics. So before we do anything more, we need to just cut these at the right length, because we are going to use these extra pieces for our side gussets. So with this, we've got our zipper pocket already stitched in. I'm going to take that off because we're going to do a lot of stitching over the top. We'll take it off and reattach it later. Okay, so now I've got my pieces here. I've cut that length off. For this one, I'm using one piece as the whole piece, so I'm not cutting this one at all. The other 3 pieces I want to cut in half, and then we're going to add them on as the strips. And something like that. So best thing to use is a pin, and we will score the back of this stabilizer. So the stabilizer that I've used is a repositionable one. So obviously I've stuck my fabric onto it, and it has that tacky back, so that we can put it down, and if we don't like it, we can move it somewhere else. Just get that. And either side of the eyelet or the grommet, we want to leave a little bit of wriggle room so that we can get our machine around it. And we'll pop that piece down. Alright, I am back. I have the machine all set up, ready to go. Well, almost, because I wanted to talk to you about the thread that I'm using. I have chosen to use this Silco thread, which is a cotton thread. It is lint free. It's a 35 weight thread, and it has this gorgeous variegation of colors. So they're kind of subtle, but they pick up all of the colors that I have in this in these fabrics. For this one, I am still using a Top Stitch 90 needle. Maybe we'll just do this one down the center here. We'll do the blanket stitch. I love blanket stitch. If you watch any of my things, you'll tend to see I do a lot of blanket stitch, just because it's a fun one where you get that nice little bit of thread coming over. I'm set it at a 4. So a 4 in the depth and a 3.5 in the width. So we're just hopefully gonna have a nice amount of thread showing. Let's have a look. That's looking gorgeous. So I really love this this thread on here. I think it's perfect. I'm gonna do a bit now on this contrast piece. So I'm still going to do the blanket stitch, but I do want to do a decorative stitch down the center of it. So let's get started with this one again. So you can see all what we're needing to do is just to continue on anchoring down all of these strips. Just for a bit of fun, I think we'll have a look at doing what kind of some kind of decorative stitch. Look at that, I think that looks gorgeous. So doing this kind of decorative stitch along here really gives some added interest. Easy to do, but very, very effective. So I'm going to, I think, maybe, perhaps we'll play around with some other stitches here. I'll try another one over here and see how it goes. So this is where you can really get creative and do something interesting. Oh yeah, this is looking good. Hey, check it out. Okay, now I have got one of the side gusset pieces here, and I'm just going to do the same kind of process again. It really is all about just anchoring down the pieces of fabric and making them look kind of creative. So you can see that by using appliqué and appliquing pieces down onto the felt, just how easy it is to do. And how much fun you can have just by creating, trying out different stitches and having a go at doing some things there. Okay, so I have done lots of embellishing stitching. I've picked out lots of different decorative stitches in my sewing machine, and I have stitched around my side gussets and the front and the back. You can really see how the thread has just picked up, and it looks gorgeous. I really love this one. It's got a very vintage kind of vibe about it. I do want to show you one other thing though. I like to do a little blanket stitch all the way around the whole thing, just to finish off those edges, and it does give it kind of a nice edge too, so that when we put it together it's going to be looking pretty good. I've decided to add a little bit of extra embellishing onto our Anna Tote here, and just having a little play, and worked out that this felted wool is going to work really well. And then I want to pop on top some extra little pieces to create like a little flower design kind of thing, and I think we'll pop a little circle in the center. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use, I'm using this kind of template to create these petal-y kind of shapes. So I've used the repositionable stabilizer once again, and I find that it works really, really well for this kind of applique work, because we can pop it on and then move it around. I have fused it onto my piece of wool, and I need 5 of these leaves. And so I've got this one on this side, and we will be mirroring that as well as we can on the other side. So a good way to just kind of make sure that we get things in the same spot. I'm going to pop a couple of pins in here at the top, and that's going all the way through. And there is a reason why I have a pin there. It is because I need to sew the pocket back on. So we'll be, so again, just scoring the back of the paper. Peel it away, and then we're good to go. We do want the gaps between them because when we put these others, we want to have these in between. So that's why we're not going up close. Okay, so I'm ready to start stitching on our shapes, and I'm going to use this gorgeous D-twist thread, which is beautiful rayon. It's essentially 2 strands twisted together, and it gives a really interesting kind of tweedy effect rather than a variegated. And with keeping with this kind of vintage vibe, I thought this one would be a good one. I'm just going to be using blanket stitch, the same as we've been using before. You kind of get that it is my fave. I call this economical stitching, so we just keep on going. No stopping. So sometimes I like to do a little bit of like echo stitching around, so we'll do a little bit of that. You could do a decorative stitch in there, but I'm going to stick with doing the triple stitch because that's another one of my favorites. I think it actually gives really nice definition. And I will look at doing the same kind of economical stitching, and we'll just keep on going all the way through. Here we go. Alright, as you can see, that looks really gorgeous. That's having this extra stitching in there just gives that little bit of extra definition, which I really like. So I'll do the other side, and then we'll be adding in the other extra applique afterwards. Right, so I've got my other pieces already cut out. As you can see, this kind of stabilizer, I think, best invention ever. No pins required. I'm really just looking at putting these on in between. Right, I'm back here at the machine, and I have got our Silco thread back in and the blanket stitch ready to go. And I'm going to do a bit more of, you know, our zipping around economical stitching. So we'll just keep whizzing around in our one go. And we're nearly finished our embellishing here. And I'm super happy with how this is looking. There we are. The last thing to do now, I think, is just we'll pop a little circle in the center, and then we'll make up the side seams, and finish off our Anna Tote. Okay, so I've got the pocket that we took out earlier, and I've just pinned it in here. So I've got it so that I'm going to stitch through on this side. And yes, we will stitch through a little bit of our embellishing, but not too much. I've opted to go, I'm using the Deco Bob, which is the same thread that I've been using in the bobbin the whole way. And I want to use that thread because I really don't want it to stand out now that I'm stitching the pocket back on. Here we are, that's it. That's our pocket stitch back in. And I think while we're here, let's just have a little flip over and have a look at the wrong side, the inside of our bag. Look how amazing all of that stitching actually looks on the back. Now, you could line this if you wanted to, but you know, I actually think it looks kind of fine on the inside, but you can see we've created some really cool patterns there at the same time. Alright, so I've moved the machine out of the way so I can show you sewing on our magnetic closure. So these are really cool little closures and really simple to do because they already have these little pre-punched holes in them. This is one that you can stitch on by machine or by hand. I'm going to do it by hand. I like to go part way through and bring my needle and thread up in there, and then we'll just take out my pin, just going part way through the felt, coming up, and then I'm just going to take my thread through, come out, so I've just buried, and then you're not going to see any tail anywhere. Cut that off, and there we have one magnetic closure, and you can't see anything on that side. So the other side, I just pop that on, flip over, and we can kind of marry up where it's got to be on the other side, and just do the same thing all over again. Okay, done. And you know what happens next? We get to do our side gussets. So we'll get those prepped. So once again, super easy, and this is really after we've now spent our time doing our embellishing, and yeah, that's probably taken a little bit of time, but that's the fun bit. So a good thing to do is just mark, you know, it's kind of keeps folding in the center there, and do the same center here. Start there. So I like to put the body onto the facing, the body onto the gusset, sorry. So because this we can maneuver around. So body on top, and we'll just pin that there. So with that in mind, with the body on the top, we're just going to work our way around this way and popping in some pins. Now it is slightly shaped on the bottom here, so this the gusset piece, it's got that a little bit of a, it's got the curve, and then we straighten off a little bit. That's where we change from having our base is the curved bit, and then the straighter part is where we have the side. So when we get there, it's kind of a little pivot point. Alright, so here we are at the machine, and we're going to stitch this in. I am just going to use a straight stitch, and I've just moved my needle over because I've realised I'm using this wide foot, and we're just going to, stitch it in. Oh, look at that, ta-da, there's one half done. And that was so quick and easy, right? So you can see, super quick. So we just need to get to do the other side now, and we are almost done. There we go. So how easy was that, huh? That's the side seams done, and look at that, we are looking gorgeous. Only thing left to do is to pop the handles on. So these are so easy to put through. We've got a buckle on the front here, so I'm just going to pop the buckle, or the strap rather, through those eyelets or grommets. And you can make these handles, you know, a little bit adjustable. There's some extra holes in there, so you can decide which size you want them to be. Okay, so there we are. Look at that. It looks gorgeous. I think it's kind of nice to have it like that. It looks nice and neat and compact, but it holds so much stuff. So you can see when it's opened out, still looks equally as stylish, but holds so much stuff in it. So that's our Anna Tote. And before we go, I will just show you a couple of other things that you can do with them. This is one that I have done with some stenciling in the background and then some applique on the top. This one I've done some machine embroidery on. So again, the stenciling in the background and then some machine embroidery over the top. And this one I have done some, did some fussy cutting with some applique, cutting out some flowers, and then did some quilted lines across afterwards. So lots of different things that you can do with these kits, and I hope you saw just how easy it was to put together, and where we really spend the time is doing the embellishing. So don't forget, you can always find more inspiration on our social media pages. You can go to Aster Anne on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube, and you can check out some more info too on our website, which is www.asterandanne.com.au. And if you've watched this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. And thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.